could feel beauty rising.
Hi, my name is Sue Skasky with Vermont Volunteer Services for Animals Humane Society, and welcome to our show For the Animals. Today we have two guests. We have Mary Cantlin and Nico, her dog. And what kind of dog is Nico?
Nico's a Siberian Husky.
And she is gorgeous.
He.
I'm sorry, he. I knew that.
He doesn't get offended.
Okay, thank you, Nico. Mary is a teacher at a small K through 8 school, and she teaches technology and math. She aspires to become a certified dog trainer, and she's working towards this end by working at the Upper Valley Humane Society. She has an interest in dog training that started when she adopted a rescue dog. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And Nico's at our feet, but you'll be able to see him later. So tell me about training at the Upper Valley Humane Society.
It's a great program. We train the shelter dogs to make them a little bit more adoptable.
That's great. That is awesome.
If you have a dog that can already sit and stay, or at least just sit, it makes them a lot more attractive.
Does every dog get training?
Every dog gets evaluated, and they do have shelter dog classes. I haven't been able to do those yet, but yeah, they do work with them.
Okay, I know when Greg and I go there to pick up animal food, because they're very kind, they ask us to distribute food. I see people going in and out of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful building.
It is a very nice building. We need dual soundproofing.
Echoes. Oh, see, okay, I haven't heard that. At least not from the outside.
If you have 6 dogs barking, it sounds like 36.
You need to get the, whatchamacallits on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ceiling.
Yeah.
Speaking of training, on September 20th in Burlington at the Sheridan, Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer, is coming for a presentation, and that's going to be very exciting. We'll get his address up in case you'd like to go on and get tickets now. But I know that all dogs in shelters are in need of rescuing.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately in Vermont we still kill healthy, adoptable dogs and cats because of overbreeding, and that just breaks my heart. I know we're making a dent, especially with the VSNP program, and in New Hampshire you have the program, the same thing, the spay-neuter assistance. That's who we fashioned our program after, so it is working, but still a long way to go.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking, and they have spay-neuter clinics right at the Upper Valley Humane Society where you can come in if you need assistance, and that's the best thing you can do for your dog or cat for their health.
I know.
Besides the unwanted puppies or kittens.
I just had somebody call the other day for VSNP, and they said they had a dog who was 8 years old, and she had mammary cancer, and she said before I said, I didn't have her spayed in time. And I said, well, let's give it a shot. Let's go for it now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll happen.
Yep.
So I know that one of the mantras of the Humane Society of the United States is, until there are none, adopt one. In other words, until there are none being euthanized, adopt one. And so you adopted Nico.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, I was working at the training center, and the reason I work at the training center and not the shelter is because I'd want to take everybody home.
Well, they just followed me home.
Yeah, why are they in my car? I don't know.
They ran fast.
Right. They do threaten to put every Siberian Husky that comes in my car when I'm not looking, but so far he's the only one I have. So Robin Stern, the adoption and behavior manager, said, you got to come see this red Husky. He's gorgeous. And I said, no, I can't go over there. I'm not allowed to go over there.
Nico, can you sit up so he can see you? Oh, there you go.
There you go. You put your little
okay, perfect.
There you go. Good boy. And I went in and met him, and I said, he is just gorgeous. And so I brought my other dog over, and they got along great, which is great because she's a very nervous dog.
And you were telling me about your other dog.
Yes.
And that you had her DNA tested to find out what type she was. And I think that that's fascinating. I hadn't heard of it. Could you just explain that a little bit?
It's very easy now. I had her tested, she's 5, so 4 years ago. You go to whatever the company is, they sell it through pet catalogs, the test.
So you can take it home and do it?
Oh yeah, you can do it at home. They mail it to you wherever you order it from, and you just take a little swab on the inside of their cheek, and then you put it in this little container, and you mail it off. And 2 weeks later, you have, or 2 to 6 weeks later, you have your results, and you have a little certificate that says your dog's primary DNA is this, and secondary DNA is this, and there's also this in the mix.
And did you have to send a picture of your dog with it?
Yes, I did. I sent a picture of my dog because I wanted it on the certificate.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if they probably did use that as part of the
evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are, I think there are 5 or 6 companies that do it now. The thing to look for is how many breeds that they can identify.
And you said it's about $100.
Yep.
And they identified.
In my other dog, in Jovi, they identified red tick coonhound, golden retriever, and unknown terrier.
It's got to be an interesting combination.
It is. It's very interesting. She's also a very interesting dog, isn't she, Nick? Huh?
And they got along well right from the get-go?
Yeah, they just, he's kind of the protector, and
yeah,
it's great. It's a great combination.
So tell me, when you work, do you work independently or with a group?
When I work with him, we volunteer, and we volunteer under Therapy Dog International, which provides insurance for him when we're volunteering, and the testing to certify him.
Okay.
If somebody needs a dog for something, the most unusual I think I've gotten is they called from Dartmouth. They wanted some dogs to come up during finals week so that the kids could just be with the dogs between tests and just kind of chill out.
Wow.
I wasn't able to do that, but so Dartmouth called Therapy Dog International. Therapy Dog International sends emails to everybody in the area, and then we make the contact and see if we can do it.
That's a great idea.
It's awesome.
So where did Nico come from?
Nico came from the Upper Valley Humane Society.
Okay. You know, I know that Upper Valley is a good organization.
It's great.
I just got a call the other day about a group out of Burlington that brings animals up from the south, and it is a horrible place. Absolutely horrible. And I know through VSNP, they don't spay and neuter before they adopt out. So I know we have to be real careful about who you get animals from.
Yeah, we're lucky that we have Upper Valley and Lucy McKenzie in the area. They're both great organizations. My other dog, Jovi, was a rescue from Tennessee, and dogs have 2 main socialization periods, like 8 weeks and around 20 weeks, and she missed both of those. I don't think she'd ever been in the house before because every noise scared her, the toilet flushing. She kept running out of the kitchen and go in the kitchen and go, "What did you just hear that scared you so much?" We finally figured out it was the ice maker.
Oh, sure.
She'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
So that was when I didn't really know as much about adopting dogs. You can get some great dogs from the south, but if you find them on Pet Finder, you really need to make contact. You need to know what to ask.
Yeah.
Because getting a dog that you haven't met
I know.
can be a disaster.
And you know, while we're still killing our own dogs, why are we doing that?
Right.
Why don't we? They're all rescued. They're all in need of rescue.
Right.
Why are we bringing them in? You know, let's take care of ours. Let's make sure we're not killing any. I love the thought, or to know that you train dogs, you're working with sheltered dogs to make them more adoptable. I know 10 years ago, it was okay, not adoptable, needle. Yeah. It's like, you know, my dogs that I was telling you before about Kiwi and Zimba, and I talk about them a lot, they would have killed me the first opportunity they had. They were pit, lab, chow, and they were tied up outside. They were so neglected, and you know, they were supposed to be shot because we couldn't get anywhere near them. But thank God it happened the way it did. Long story short, I ended up taking them both to my house. One of my veterinarian friends, Brad Barrington, took them for 1 week at his shelter, at his hospital, neutered them. The people never came back for them. They promised they would, and so they became mine. And once you put a face, once you know an animal's face and you looked into their eyes, you can't easily say, euthanize.
No, they just
So-
look right into your soul.
Exactly. And Kiwi became my heartbeat. I loved him. But, you know, thank God that he had had that opportunity to be worked with, because otherwise he would have been a statistic.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's why I think it's great that shelters now are calling in behaviorists and working with the animals, because every life is worth saving.
Yeah. I think it's really nice that Upper Valley has a training center and a shelter or an animal care center so that they can do that. And more, I think Lucy McKenzie does train
Yes.
dogs now too.
Yeah.
There are so many places to train dogs now. I think it's just great because you can find the place that fits your schedule and your hours, and
Right.
you know, as long as it's positive reinforcement training, I think it's awesome.
Sure. Okay, so did Nico come with issues?
Nico came with some issues. Yes, he did.
Nico, come on over here.
Come on, everybody. Come on.
You're
You
the
sit
star.
up.
You're the
I don't
star.
want to come
Look
out
at the
here. You
camera.
just said I had
Look
an
at
issue.
the camera.
Sit. You sit there. Good boy.
What was that hand signal you just said? Right away.
You start training them with a treat,
Uh-huh.
and if you pull the treat up and the nose goes up, then the butt goes down.
Uh-huh.
So it's just it's an automatic reaction that they have, so it's not as hard for them to learn. Right? Yeah.
So tell me, we were talking a little bit about a canine good citizen. What is that?
That is a test administered by the AKC that just basically says your dog has good manners. Your dog, you know, can be out in public. It's kind of a feel-good certification. Mm-hmm. You have to sit, stay down. You have to be able to walk away and call the dog to you. They have to walk on a loose leash. They have to walk through a crowd of people and not want to get a treat from everybody there.
Uh-huh.
They have to accept a stranger coming up to them and sit and be petted, and then they have to let the examiner look at their feet and their ears and in their mouth and things like that.
I think Kiwi would have failed that one.
Well, then there are two other, usually they give the CGC, the Canine Good Citizen, and the TDI test together. And there are two other steps to the therapy dog test, and one of them is that crowd of people now becomes a crowd with medical equipment and wheelchairs and walkers. And in the Canine Good Citizen one, for a distraction, usually they have the dog walk past some food. When we did it, they made him walk past a huge jar of peanut butter that was open.
And does he like peanut butter?
He loves peanut butter.
Oh.
But it's really important because if you go into a hospital and there's a pill on the ground and it looks like something they can eat,
Right.
you have to be able to say leave it, and they have to be able to leave
Uh-huh.
it immediately. But when you go to the therapy dog test, they took a stack of metal bowls that was this high and dropped it behind
You were
him.
going to say that? Yeah.
I jumped about 30 feet, and he looked at him like, what'd you do that for? What's
This is
going on?
Nico.
Yeah. Yeah, he was not at all phased. He's the most laid-back, incredible animal. He's a gift.
Does he get a lot of exercise? Does he require a lot of exercise?
Huskies typically require
Right.
a lot of exercise. We're lucky that Nico can get along with a little bit less, and if he has intellectual stimulation, that is just as good.
Really?
I take him to school for a day. By the time he comes home,
You were
just-
talking
he's
about
out.
that. Can
He's
we
out.
talk about that
Sure.
a little bit? So, okay, you were saying that if, especially if there's a test that day,
I've had him in classes where there have been tests, and he'll kind of wander around the room, and he'll sense if somebody's getting frustrated or upset, and he'll go over and sit next to them, and the kids will reach down and absentmindedly pet him. I don't even think they really realize that he's in the room.
yeah.
Well, they realize he's in the room, but they don't really realize that he's like right there, and then he'll wander around some more, and it's just a great thing to watch. He has such an incredible effect on people.
My daughter's works with sometimes challenged children, and her dog Chulu is just a love bug, and the kids just gravitate towards him because the unconditional love, you know, they can hug on to him, and he's just like one big waddle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. We can't go anywhere when classes are changing at school because we are a traffic jam. The first grade came out of the gym one day, and we were between them and their room, and they just They mobbed him, which is exactly what you don't want to do to a dog, and that I knew he was going to be just fine when he was just like, okay, pet me.
Right.
Pet me, go ahead.
Yeah. When I first met Greg, he had a black lab, Dusty, and then we had our kids, and black labs are so mellow. You know, the kids, the ears, the tail, the flop over, and he just like, whatever, more attention from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I asked you this. How are the therapy dog skills much different than the canine good citizens?
It's basically the same test with those 2 extra steps, with the loud noises, because you might encounter that in a hospital situation. You have to be able to leave the dog with somebody for 3 minutes, I think. That might also be in the CGC test, I'm not sure. And then they have to be exposed to hospital equipment.
Okay. You know, just watching Caesar on television, I love his mantra that he rehabilitates dogs and trains people, because it always seems to come back down to the people issue.
Absolutely, it's all consistency.
Yeah.
Every time I do a dog training class, I say this is not a dog training class, it's a people training class.
It's exciting because Caesar's asked us to find a couple dogs from shelters. That's the new phase that he's going into now, working with shelters. So we have one group, Potter's Angels. Are you familiar with Heather Bent?
Yep.
She's great. She's worked with us before, and they're considering one dog that she's worked with.
Ooh,
so yeah,
that's
pretty
great.
exciting. Okay, tell me, separation anxiety. What is it?
That's what Nico had when we first got him, and it's when the dog has a negative reaction to being away from the people he's bonded with. First day we left him at home alone. We knew he wasn't good in a crate, so I didn't confine him to a crate, but cleaned out a small room, and a small bathroom, and my sister came to check on him at noon, and he had destroyed it.
I was going to ask, was there a door left?
There was a door. He'd almost gone out the window. He'd taken the towel rack off the floor. There was blood all over the place because he caught a dew claw. Usually they have a little inappropriate illumination when they're afraid. So she said, you need to come home right now. So we did and cleaned it up and said, okay, that's not going to work. Tried him in a crate and he got out of it. In fact, one night I was doing a dog training class after the separation anxiety when he could be crated. And I was talking about how great it is to crate train your dog, and the people started to laugh, and I looked and he had just opened the gate on the crate that he was in and walked over and sat next to me.
Houdini?
So, yes, that's why his middle name is Houdini. Yes, we added that, didn't we? So, separation anxiety is tough. It's basically while you're trying to get over it or work with your dog, you can't leave him alone.
Is it different than regular anxiety?
Yeah, other dogs can have anxiety, like a common one is noise, 4th of July, guns, backfiring cars, things like that. So if it's isolated to 1 or 2 things, it's a lot easier to keep the dog away from those things or do positive things while that's happening.
Oh, I hear from people 4th of July all the time. Oh, I know. I say, okay, why don't you try this? Put the dog in the room, put the radio on, you know, whatever you need to do. Do you medicate? Do you advocate for medicating?
I think, I'm not a vet, and I don't play one on TV, but I think that helps both my dogs.
Yeah.
And it's not to drug them so that they are, It's not to drug them. It takes the edge off so you can work with them.
Sure.
And you phase it out. You give them what they need for 2 months, 6 months, whatever. I mean, we've all been so uptight that we can't get done what we need to get done, and that's what it's like for them. So, but you really need to consult your vet, and depends on what other kinds of meds they're on or any conditions they have.
What worked for Nico?
Nico took Clonacom.
Okay. Is that like clonazepam?
Clomipramine, I think, is the generic name for it. Clonacom is the brand name. And we phased him off that. it took a while, but and we've discovered an incredible personality under there.
Yeah.
That he had before, but it
Right.
had been taken down a notch.
Sure.
And we've done flower essences with him. We've done.
The marigold? Which one?
We use the special anxiety one from Green Hope Farm in Meriden, New Hampshire, just for dogs.
Okay. I have Leslie Chadwell coming from Sableview to our expo on September 8th, and she does essential oils. I'm really excited. She's great. She's been on the show before with her horses, but oils are very effective.
They have, yes.
I know lavender is supposed to be very relaxing. It's really interesting.
Yeah. It's amazing how those things can, now that he's off the meds, we put a little flower essence in his water, and you can ingest the flower essence where you can't, the oil, I guess, you can just put it somewhere where they smell it. There's a dog appeasing pheromone that you can get from pet stores that's supposed to be the pheromone that the mother dog gives off to calm the puppies. And you can spray that around your house.
No kidding.
I still do that every time I leave him.
And does he recognize that smell? I mean, is it when he walks in, he's like, or is it just a very subtle?
It's very subtle, but I've noticed with him and with Jovi, if I remember to spray that, they're usually a lot more relaxed when I come home.
It's just like walking into a house. If you have an apple pie baking or a loaf of bread, it's like, for me, it's spaghetti sauce. It's like,
oh yeah, home. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we've tried that. We do. There are music CDs made especially to calm dogs. We play those. I thought, this is not going to calm the dog down, and it comes with a warning: don't play this in the car. And I put it on the first night we had it. I was going to bed. Everybody in the house was out cold.
Out like a light?
Yeah.
Why did they say don't put it in the car?
Because I guess they don't want you to fall asleep while you're driving.
Oh, for you?
Yeah. There is one that you can play in the car for dogs that have a fear of and anxiety about the car.
Okay.
So,
Could you do one of his commands now that he's up?
are you going to stretch? Okay. Nico, sit. High five. Yes, thank you very much. Boy. Kiss? No. Okay. The kids love that. They'll read to him and then he'll give them a high five.
Jerry's going to come out and get you. Okay, Nico, do your stunts.
You ready? Huh? Are you ready? Wait. Sit. Sit. High five. Yes. Good boy. Other one. High five. Good boy. High five. Yeah, you like that, huh? Oh, high five. Good boy.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
Will he sit when you ask him to?
Most of the time, yes. Sit. That is one of the requirements
boy.
for being a therapy dog, but Huskies are notoriously stubborn.
They're very intelligent.
They're very intelligent. They get bored with. He loves to go to training classes, but once he's got it, it's like, let's move on.
Right.
I'm done with this. So,
I just want to ask one more question about anxiety. Do some breeds have more anxiety than others?
that depends on who you read.
Oh, okay.
Huskies, supposedly, working dogs, guarding kind of dogs, have more anxiety because they are feeling they're responsible for you. Huskies supposedly have more because they feel like they need to be in a pack, and they need, if the pack isn't there, they feel isolated. Little dogs that are always in their owner's hands or lap or next to them on the couch. But really any dog can have separation anxiety if it's not trained and taken care of in the vital puppyhood stage. That's why I think that if you only take one class with your dog, it should be a puppy class.
Really?
People say, oh, well, I'll wait till they're a little older.
Yeah.
But if you take the puppy class, it creates a bond, and it creates a trust.
How many classes are they? I mean, when you sign up for a class, is it a series of 5, 6, 8?
Between 6 and 8, it depends on where you take the class. And some of them are in series. Some places offer them where you can You get a pass for 6 classes, and you can come whenever it works for your schedule.
So, can you teach an old dog new tricks?
Yeah, with enough time,
Uh-huh.
with enough effort, and not everybody has that to give. You know, I mean, he was, what, we got you in 2009, so he was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty old to learn new things.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of hard work on his part and our part, but he can be home for 7 or 8 hours now by himself.
He's got the most beautiful eyes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's what everybody picks out about him.
Yeah.
One of the little kids at school said, "I think he looks into your soul."
Isn't that a wonderful compliment?
I just love it.
Yeah. A child said that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
You work at a good school.
Yeah. I work at a terrific school.
Well, I hope that we can have Nico come to the expo. I hope that works out.
That would be great.
Yep. Our expo is September 8th. It's at Quail Hollow Living Community in West Lebanon. It's from 10 to 5, and we've got some really, really good exhibitors and vendors. It's Calling All Angels and Animal Expo, and I hope you can join us. And we're out of time. Mary, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Nico? Thank you, baby. Thank you very much for watching For the Animals, and join us again next week. And that's it.
Great.
Come on, Nico. Come on over here now.
Really? What do you have to say? Nick, what do you have to say? You have something to say to us? You do?
At dusk, there came a turning. There was a moment when all was known. You could feel beauty rising on the breeze, the shapes, the stone, and I would ride upon the breeze that shapes the stone across the sky and beyond to that place where all is known, when I could fly.